Good day, fellow learners. My name is Rachel Ann R. Tolentino, and I'm happy to report about Module 5, Layout and Packaging of Print Materials. How to handle pictures. We can also call this a guide to effective visual communication because that's what this is all about. Why do pictures matter? Pictures matter because good publications always offer good visualization of the ideas we want to present. A document with no visual will look boring and dull. Did you know that 65% of the information we receive is retained when accompanied with an image? This is called picture superiority complex, and this phenomenon has been studied and documented in cognitive psychology. And did you also know that 65% of the world's population are visual learners? In this diagram, you can see how visuals are stored in our memory. Today, I'm going to share with you some points where we can deep dive on how we can harness the power of images and ensure that we use pictures effectively. This section of the report will share the summarized points from the book of Ian Montaigne, Editing and Publications. In each slide, I will share with you samples for each point. First one is make photos big. Big photos can show details and catch more attention. As you can see, this is of the same incident of a capsized boat or ship in Santorini in Greece. The one on the left doesn't actually show the scale of how big the ship is, while the one on the right would actually show you that it's big and the impact is greater. Here are other examples. The National Geographic, both the magazine and their website, is really known for showing and ensuring that their photos are big and actually can stand on its own for their stories. Second key point is don't use too many photos. Too many photos can be distracting. The one on the left has been choosing a lot of photos about windmills in Brooklyn, but you can barely make sense out of it, right? And the one on the right is has carefully chosen photos of Steve Jobs as a tribute when he passed in 2011. Choosing appropriate photos will surely augment our messages. We should also place photos strategically to catch the reader's eye. Next key point is don't use bad photos. Avoiding low quality, bad lighting, and poorly cropped photos can affect the message that you want to send. This example is a badly cropped photo that might give a wrong connotation. Good image also means good lighting. Here's an example of what an underexposed and an overexposed photograph is. The one in the middle would show us what good lighting would result with. Lastly, plan photo sessions carefully so you can make sure to take multiple shots. Because as you can see in this picture of Prince William, choosing the correct angle matters. The next key point is avoiding photographic cliches. Photographic cliches can simply mean overused photographs. The one on the left is an overused photograph of the Taj Mahal from the UNESCO Heritage Site. And the other one is an overused photo of Morocco. Normally, you would see photographic cliches in travel magazines or travel articles. But there's another prevailing issue when it comes to photographic cliches, and that is the use or overuse of a particular model. This one is Ariane. She's a Filipina, and she's been used in one too many ads. And here's another runner up as an overused model. The next key point is to crop distracting details. These are two photos of COVID-19 can get this ugly campaign using an ugly sweater, reminding people that we should continuously wear masks and protect ourselves so that our holiday season will not be ugly. But the photo on the left is less distracting than the one on the right. So we should also review photos and decide on what to focus on. Cropping elements that may distract people or the readers or audience from the main subject. Next example or key point is to show persons in action. We should avoid generic photos or static photos. We need to make sure that we capture people who are doing something or are dynamic because this is more interesting and looks more natural. These are both photos are showing a group of chefs, but the one on the right is actually more compelling because it is dynamic. Other persons in action are given in these examples. So this is the royal family making a visit. This one is a picture of poverty. And then the last one is a picture of a baseball player who is retiring. The next key point is don't crowd too many people in one photo. This is a photo of the US cabinet in one of their sessions. And you don't know actually where to focus, as if you're looking for Waldo in a sea of people or a crowd. Here are suggested improvements to the photo earlier. So this can be cropped to ensure that the focus will be on the presenter and then President Barack Obama. The next key point is the use of sequence photos to capture interest. Sequences can actually enhance interest and storytelling. But in photo sequences, we need to make sure that the differences are distinguishable. We need to make sure that these are of different timelines. This is particularly effective in showing progress and development projects. The next key point is don't cut photos in odd shapes. Cutting photos into odd shapes can be distracting and can distort the image. It's nice to be creative, but we also need to make sure that we don't get overboard so we don't disrupt the readers and make sure that we don't take their focus out of the main message that we want to send. Here are some examples of odd shapes, too many shapes or too many information and elements in one layout. Here are also bad examples. Another consideration under this key point is to make sure that we consider the correct orientation during printing. So this one is a really bad collage of photos, and this one is a badly or a poorly considered layout for printing. Another key point is to be careful when flipping photos. We need to ensure that we avoid embarrassing mistakes like reverse text or images. So, for example, this is the original photo. Flipping it would make it funny because the text and images are reversed. We also have to consider that carelessly flipping images can also accidentally send a bad message. The Philippine flag's unique design signals a state of peace and a state of war when displayed. So we need to make sure also that we consider those. So to recap, the 10 key points that Ian Montaigne mentioned are: make photos big, don't use too many photos, don't use bad photos, avoid photographic cliches, crop distracting details, show persons in action, don't crowd too many people in one photo, use sequence photos to capture interest, don't cut photos in odd shapes, and lastly, be careful when flipping photos. Thank you for watching this video. And for the questions for my fellow learners, please share in the discussion what you consider as a good photo for your communication materials. Lastly, what do you think is the best photo used in a communication material for you and why? Please feel free to share the link for everyone's reference. Thank you so much for listening.